Alright, I'm a little bit more than halfway through the second round of replacing of the micro switches. I've got that first one replaced here, the one that goes to the back, and see, it looks very nicely installed. I tried to be very neat with the wiring, keeping it all coming off the contacts going up, and you can see I put new capacitors on there for the arc snubbers. I'll fold that one up out of the way. This is the one that goes towards the front, and I've got just a little tack of solder placed on there to hold the terminals, hold the wires on the terminals, but leave a hole there so that I can install the capacitor. And I went ahead on this last one and cheated once again, and using a new capacitor with the old bits of plastic sleeving, which are now starting to look a little worse for wear on there. And threading these through the terminal holes like this. Then I'll bend them over. Go ahead and snip off some of the excess on that one. Bend this one over and snip off some of the excess there. Go ahead and sort of form those over by hand, get them where I want them. Then I'll use the pliers to smash them down good where I want them to be. So here you can see I folded this way. Okay, so now those are ready for soldering. I'm going to use my helper here. I sort of tuck this under this wiring harness and adjust it like that, the way I like it, and then we can solder the piece. And then this should complete that, and then we can put the everything back together. There we go. Okay. Solder melting into there. Okay. Let that cool for a second. Go over everything. I'm quite pleased with that. And I kind of, when I did this the last time, I had things such that the wires kind of were tangled up a little bit. Zoom back out. And I kind of corrected that this time around. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Remelt that, maybe add a little bit. Hold that like that, and I'll use these here. Let's squash this down a little bit better. Might be kind of hard to do. think it's going to go anywhere. Yeah, that's just fine. It looks kind of funky, but it's okay. It's bonded real nice. Okay. Unplug the soldering iron. Soldering iron cool. Off to the side here, out of the way. And now we can start putting things back together. Yay, let's see how long I can film this before I run out of storage on this thing. So, kind of the first thing that needs to be done is this spring needs to be hooked back to the cam. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. The cam here has a place where the spring hooks on. It's right here. It needs to be hooked back on right there. And see if we can do that. This is the hardest part I have found of doing anything on this. Is hooking that spring back on. You can do this without unhooking the spring. You're doing pretty good. Okay. So that's back on. You can turn this back to that position there. Oops, sorry. Okay, and this is the front micro switch, and this is the rear micro switch. And we're going to start with one screw and thread it through the front micro switch. Then the piece of plastic that it's actually sort of a cardboard fish paper type material. Okay. We're going to thread the second micro switch into there. So get it behind the spring. They give you a lot of room to work in here. Okay. And I see that the spring came unhooked from the card. So that means I probably got it hooked on there backwards, because at one point I did take the spring off and put it in the second hole to see if I could get it to work with those other micro switches. So we're going to have to pop the spring off. That's why it was kind of hard to get on there. And put it on the other way. Let me cut the video off and I will come back.